So, honest question, what is it about female dating coaches? They come in and, well, I've got all the secrets for you. You'll attract the girls like you'll be a chick magnet and all these things. Just follow my 17 steps below in the link and all this. So all right, yeah, I'll go see it. It's free. No. You have to sign up with an email and a phone and this. No. No, thank you. I'd rather not get spammed. So Coach Melannie, with 2 N's, she wants to tell us about the 3 biggest lies. Things that you observe in your own life about how women are attracted to certain kinds of men or certain types of men. She's going to tell us that these are all lies. She's going to explain with some good anecdotal advice, evidence. So let's get into it.
So I wanted to kind of devote this video to some of the biggest lies and kind of explain why they're lies and why they're not true and why you shouldn't give them any more thought.
So reality I should not pay attention to. My own experiences, the experiences of other men with respect to, dating and everything. You don't need that. It's all a bunch of lies. It's interesting, though, that over the course of this video, the lies turn into truth.
Lie number 1 is that all you got to do is be super rich and then women will love you.
Well, it doesn't hurt. Everything else being equal looks, equal whatever. Yeah, a guy with the money is probably going to get more interest from women. Undeniable.
I don't know what kind of women you're hanging out with if you think that, but you are clearly hanging out with the wrong women.
Okay, she says this a couple times. What do you mean wrong women? Some women have a preference for guys who have money. There's nothing wrong with that. It's otherwise known as hypergamy, which has helped us hairless monkeys survive to this day as we're sitting here speaking. So I don't know what you mean wrong woman. And no, they're not hanging around me because I don't have any money.
A quick story for you. Several years ago, I started to get to know a guy, and he would show me his big screen TV. He purchased a brand new car, like brand new, shiny, all the bells and whistles. And he had to walk me through his house and let me see how awesome his house was. He was showing off some wealth.
Yeah, because he wanted to convince you that if you were to get married, he would have sufficient resources to take care of you and the children. Because, starvation sucks. So I would rather have a nice place to live and some money if I'm going to marry a dude. But of course, that's a lie, guys. Isn't it?
And guys, we only went on like 2 dates.
The interesting thing is this is one of 3 dating stories that Melanie's going to tell us. And of course, every single time the dudes were dirtbags, right? What's the one common thing, Melannie? Just wondering.
And I was done. I was really done. What happened with this guy is, yeah, he was showing me off some of his wealth, but he didn't treat me very good.
Well, I wouldn't like that either. And how would you define not treat me very good? He wouldn't exclusively date only you. He had other girlfriends. He was just a prick. We don't know. You don't really describe it. We're just supposed to take your word for it that he was a dirtbag.
And I didn't enjoy my time with him. He was really boring. And it just wasn't a good experience at all.
So he's got the money, and I assume he's got, the looks, or at least somewhat. But he was boring. Yeah, my daughter used to date a guy like that. I think she regrets giving him up.
The fact is that wealth or no wealth, he did not have some of the essential traits that women want.
I wish you would tell us what those traits are, dear. It'd be awfully nice. I know you're trying to sell a book and whatever, but throw us a bone. Would you please?
Some of the traits I actually teach you in my free guide, 17 Traits Christian Women Want Most in a Man.
Not getting my phone number. No.
If you haven't downloaded your free copy of that yet, check out the link in the description below.
Free, except for all your information. No thanks.
But, long story short, this guy had wealth and I wasn't interested. Why? Because that's not the only thing that matters to women.
Nobody says it's the only thing. It certainly is part of what would be attractive in a man, along with looks, status, all these other things. And besides, Melannie, we don't really know much about you, but it could be that you're independently wealthy. Maybe you don't care about money because you've got plenty. We don't know. You don't tell us.
You can be rich all day long, but if you are a dirtbag, it doesn't matter.
Dirtbag. There you go.
Lie number 2. Well, all you have to do is be very successful and have like a high level of prestige, and then women will want you.
That's hypergamy, the nesting thing we just talked about. And status is important. But you're going to tell us it's a lie.
Another story for you. I started to get to know a guy who had a career choice that was prestigious, and he let me know how prestigious it was. And in his church, he was very prestigious. And
So he might have been a doctor, something like that, or, Okay.
guys,
Yeah.
I ended up telling him to never call me again.
Ooh, wow. Are you sure it was you that told him that? Just wondered.
After date 2.
2 more dates. At least you got another free meal.
Why? Well, very similar to the first story.
Yeah.
He was a dirtbag.
Of course he was. It couldn't have anything to do with the female involved in all 3 of these dating episodes, could it? No way.
I felt terrible when I was around him. And my mom and my sister actually came to me and said, hey, you got to stop seeing this guy. Ever since you met him, you have been a nervous wreck, and your self-esteem has plummeted.
Yeah, that's probably because he had a lot of other women that were interested. Just throwing it out, even though you're going to tell us it's a lie that women are attracted to those kind of men. He may have had a few running around that would like to date him.
And you've just been really down.
Yeah.
Here was a guy who was very prestigious and many people would say incredibly successful by the world's terms.
Yes, we got it. You've said it 3 times already. We're there.
And I didn't want him.
Yeah.
So if success is, and being prestigious, if that's the only thing that matters to women, then why didn't I want him?
Because it's not the only thing that matters. Melannie, you know that to be true. It's usually some combination. And I mean, you're supposed to be the expert at this stuff. Come on, man.
Again, he did not have the key things that women actually want in a man.
Here comes the shill. Are you ready for it?
Before we get to lie number 3 and the secret that you really need to know, I want to hear from you guys. If any of these are surprising to you, if anything you're learning today is a surprise, be sure to comment a wow in the comments below.
Actually, none of it is, except you're lying about the lies. Other than that, it's pretty well known how what attracts women.
And we are to lie number 3, which is perhaps the biggest lie.
Yeah.
I have people leave me comments about this all the time. Lie number 3 is, well, girls only care if you're super hot.
Well, being attractive is kind of useful. Again, women are constantly bombarded with opportunities to go on dates with dudes and whatever. They've got to have some kind of a sorting mechanism. So yeah, being attractive might be one of those sorts. It's like, well, yeah, I could go out with Johnny this Friday or Jerry, and Johnny is over 6 feet and he's hot. I think I'll choose him.
That's all that matters to them.
Well,
Again,
nobody is saying it's all that matters. I think you're building some kind of weird argument here that nobody is actually saying. Isn't that a straw man? It's close enough.
I don't know what kind of women you're hanging out with,
Not those, because I'm not super attractive.
but you are clearly hanging out with the wrong types of women.
Again, there's the wrong types of women who want to go out with good-looking dudes.
The truth is, according to female psychology, guys,
Yeah.
physical attraction is actually much less important to women than it is even to men. Quick,
You know what those other things are that they're attracted to? Even though you just got done telling us they're lies, status, and wealth. I know. You see, Melannie, you went out with these guys because of their wealth, because of their status, and because of their looks. So you've already done it. But you're saying it's a lie.
quick story for you. Again,
God.
lots of stories today. I met a guy several years ago, and
Was he ugly? Or was he hot?
he made me weak in the knees, you guys. When it comes to physical
Like a geyser.
attraction, he was like my dream guy, you guys. I'm not even kidding. I could not look him in the eye without blushing and looking away. I couldn't get within like 4 feet of him without like butterflies taking over and not being able to breathe. He was so physically attractive.
And I can tell with your facial expressions, you're still attracted to him. So we've got the Adonis, we've got the 6 foot, 6-pack, the 6 whatever, and he's hot. Okay. And you went out with him But that's a lie.
We started to get to know each other, and I started to become really miserable. Yes, he was attractive, and like there were those butterflies and stuff.
Yeah, but he was attractive to a lot of other women. Is that what got you miserable, dear? Because you didn't feel like you deserved such an Adonis? I would bet I'm in the ballpark. Am I right?
But as time went on, that lessened, and my self-worth just dropped dramatically.
I mean, you're not a bad-looking woman. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're unattractive. I'm just saying in your mind, he was so attractive that you felt like you didn't deserve it. Or how could this guy be with me? Why? What? And your self-worth goes down because, blah, blah, blah.
I felt terrible when I was around him.
Yeah, you were worried about him running off with some other chicks. Am I right?
It turned out that he was very, very manipulative.
Of course he was. Of course he was.
And he always was trying to get me to lower my standards, which I wouldn't do.
Yeah, what she's saying is he wanted to bang her, and she wouldn't give him that. So what do you think the next logical step in this relationship is, guys? Anyone?
But when I wouldn't do that, he would pout and mope and be unkind to me. Here was a man who, physically speaking, was one of the most attractive men I've ever met. I'm not going to lie. He was incredibly attractive. But he wasn't attractive because he didn't have those other key traits that were most important and that women want most in a man.
You want a nice combination. You want a mixture of hot, status, and resources. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's evolution.
At the end of the day, we ended up breaking up, and I never felt better. It was a very good experience for me.
Shocker.
I finally felt free, and I was able to start finding the type of man I actually wanted.
Yeah, except you don't really know what the hell you want.
Type of man who has the traits I teach you about in my course, How to Get a Girlfriend.
The shill is back.
The traits that matter most to a woman. Now, we are to that special secret I told you about at the end of the video.
We've been waiting. Go on.
With every lie we just addressed, there is actually some truth.
Bingo! What she's saying is that it's a lie that these certain characteristics individually attract women. Some, but it's usually more of a combination. And she'll go on to say that and shill her book again and whatever. Oh, God. I'll put the link below. But female dating coaches, I'm not sure I understand it. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.